TT Productions, bringing real adventures to audio. Haha. Do you want me to kick this off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yes. You see how
Just
well prepared
mainly because you know exactly what it's called and it's not in my brain yet.
Okay, so if anything goes wrong, it's my fault. Gotcha. Greetings, people of the internet. My name is Matt. I'm here with Emily, and this is the gathering of haunting oral stories together, otherwise known as the Ghost Podcast.
That was very enchanting and mysterious and
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
fitting.
So, hello, Emily.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
Hello. I am warm as Britain has decided to cook itself. I've heard of the Great British Bake Off, but this is ridiculous. Anyway, so as the more perceptive of internet dwellers will have realised, we are here to talk about the paranormal, and this is kind of an idea that I had, but also Emily had roughly the same idea. So we just thought we'd sort of join forces and basically see where this takes us. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be, I hope, rather light-heartedly, but delving into sort of deeper domains of the paranormal, which is something that we've both got a great interest in. It probably will involve 90% of us fanboying over Most Haunted, but that's part of the territory. It's part of the territory, yeah.
I mean, if you can't fangirl or fanboy over Most Haunted, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, might as well just put the news on, because the things are about to get weird around here, like they weren't already. And
what are you trying to say?
Not a thing. Not a thing. I don't know what you're talking about. And as time goes on, we're going to be inviting people into the show, and we'll just be chatting about ghosts and paranormalism and weird stuff that people like to talk about, but not as openly as we would like them to talk about it, because you don't want to bother with small talk with people. You just want to launch straight in and say, right, tell me about your belief about what happens after death. The kind of thing that you start off over two sides and you just work your way forwards.
You don't want to scare people off, do you? Just like,
no,
don't want to scare people off. Just be like, tell me what you think. No. And they'll be like, oh my God, I don't know.
That's all right, neither do we. So this is where we're going to guess all the way.
Yeah.
So, and we'll be talking about different mysteries, different cases and things that myself and Emily have, really interest us, because I think, if I remember right, when we were talking about this, Emily wants to talk about Borley Rectory.
Borley Rectory. I also want to talk about the Enfield haunting and the haunting that happened to the Perrin family, which is what the Conjuring film is based off. So they'll be quite juicy and quite good to delve in and actually find out like the real story behind it and sort of share my opinion on it as well.
Absolutely, and that's what I like, is because this episode is basically just going to be us chatting about what we like in general and where we sort of came from in terms of the whole world of the paranormal. This is why this one's going to feel a bit loose.
We do promise it will get deeper as we go along and we start. Oh yeah, like when we start like hooking people into the show and start like getting people on and talking to them as well, because it won't just be us all the time. It'll be other people too.
This is true. This is true. Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it just being us, but we'll get some guests on as well.
But this is there are so many people out there, and the one thing that I personally find, I don't know whether anybody else feels the same, is that people find themselves they believe in the paranormal, they absolutely adore it, and when they find people that they can talk about it with, they sort of hang on to them, hang on to them really, really tight, because it's kind of, look, we're not going to judge you. Whatever you want to tell us, we'll listen, and 95.9% of the time we will believe it. I mean, there's obviously some bumps along the way where we kind of think, yeah, it's a bit
yeah, it's a bit much, that, yeah.
At the precise second, I can't think of anything because I'll believe anything, mate.
Yeah, I think there's been a couple of things I've been told that I haven't believed, but I won't say what they are in case they listen to it and then they'll know I don't believe them.
See, you are playing the game far wiser than I am. I don't believe it's a lot. Oh no, no, like that. So,
goodness.
just to sort of open this up completely randomly. So, Emily,
Matt.
Emily and the Paranormal.
That sounds like a book title.
Where did it all start? I was going to say we could get a couple of books out of this as well. Emily and the Paranormal. Where did it all start for you?
I remember watching Most Haunted from a very young age with my mum, just on the sofa. I'm 25. Can't remember when the first series of Most Haunted came out, but I remember watching it and being like, "Oh, this is really scary." Is it like 2001 or something like that?
I want to say about 2003, 2004.
2002.
Because that's when 2000. Well, yeah, I was close. Oh, I was close. I was close. So I was there because like you, I adore Most Haunted. I always have.
It's like one of those like comfort shows, isn't it? Like if there's nothing on TV, I'll be like, oh, I'll put Prime on and I'll watch Most Haunted because it's all on there.
Exactly what I do. In fact, I'm not. This wasn't out of a sense of preparation or anything. I genuinely was watching it. Before we were recording this, I was watching season 2 where they went to the Station Hotel in Dudley.
This is it. Round this area, this lady's life was taken from her, murdered, without a doubt. And the residual energy tells me so. I'm picking up puncture wounds, but also strangulation. The throat.
When you say puncture wounds, did you mean a knife?
I feel strangulation and then puncture wounds. That sticks in the atmosphere for all time. That can't be taken away. But for some reason, these walls here and what we've got here wasn't the way, most certainly, when this lady lost her life.
Which, oddly enough, when we were in Dudley most recently, we walked straight past it, but you couldn't see it because there was nothing but roadworks.
Did we?
Yeah, because we went to Dudley Castle, went to the zoo, and the Station Hotel is directly opposite.
Oh, if I'd known that, I'd have been like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not interested in the zoo.
Actually,
at that time,
I don't think we would. I don't think that we'd actually had the chat of, do you believe in the paranormal as well? Because otherwise, we'd have been over there, the both of us.
I think we had sort of had it because I think it was like 2:00 in the morning one time. We're on a Zoom with like our wider sort of like friends. I think there was like 4 of us at the end, and we were just talking about like what episodes of Most Haunted we liked the best and which ones we thought were most like convincing. Not convincing, but the most like factual in terms of proving to people that ghosts exist.
Which is the best time to have those kind of conversations.
2 a.m, just before you go to bed, just like, oh, what Most Haunted do you like best?
We were all relatively sober as well.
I think we were, which is quite shocking for us, to be honest.
It is rather. We are responsible adults, honest gov.
Yes, we are.
But that was a nice chat. That was because, like I said, just to give everybody listening context, we're TT Productions. We get together on Zoom quite often, and you'll find that all of a sudden the subject matter will just leap in, take over the entire conversation. Then all of a sudden people will sort of filter away, and whoever's left is this really hardcore of nerds to that.
It was me, you, Chelsea, and Jim, wasn't it? The 4 of us were just on till like 2 a.m, like, right.
Yes, it was.
Paranormal, Most Haunted.
And oddly enough, when we went to Dudley Castle, I did actually get the a couple of Most Haunted quotes in, because I think we were going through the actual castle parts, And we couldn't resist. I couldn't resist it, could I?
No.
Said, I'm getting, if you please. What's that, Sam? Yeah, bless you, Sam. Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick.
I was crying at that point, honestly.
What is it, Derek? You all right? Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick. Richard.
Oh, I couldn't do anything for laughing at that point. And there was like bats flying around above our head and stuff, and I was like, I'm so gone.
Absolutely perfect setting. It really was. It was a perfect setting. But no, I thought you knew that the station hotel was actually opposite.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh no, we'll have to. Oh, can you imagine if we actually said, right, we're just going to go to Dudley just to stay at the station hotel, just to see what the crack is.
Ghost hunt. We need to do a ghost hunt at some point.
Let's say a podcasted ghost hunt.
Yeah.
I would be. I'm down for that.
Yeah, we need to do that. We'll get a couple of other people involved, though. I'm not just going like us two, because we'd have to end up splitting off on our own, and that's something I'm not willing to do yet. I'm not like a Carl or a Stuart. I'm very much, I need to be with someone.
This is the thing, because when I used to go ghost hunting a lot, I would always be the one daft enough to, people would say, "Oh no, I don't want to go down that dark corridor. There's something really bad at the end of it." So something really bad, yeah, something unspeakable, something that could possibly rip our soul in two, yeah. I'll tell you what it looks like, and I'll be down there, just like I'm just like zoom, got and just like, and I'll do these things joyfully because I'm a complete burk.
Well, I'll be stood at the back with like somebody that will drag along, and I'll just be like, "No, you can go down there. I'll just stay here. It's fine."
And this dark and mysterious force needs to be investigated by someone brave, honest, and true.
Off you go, Chambers. Go on, Chambers. Off you go.
Yes.
I'll stay here. I'll be at the end of the walkie-talkie.
We're right behind you.
We can have like walkie-talkies, like on Most Haunted. Like, are you all right down there?
You fool! Chambers is dead. Matt, stop pressing around. I'm sorry. So yeah, welcome to the Most Haunted fan club, everybody.
Promise we're not just going to be like super fans of Yvette Fielding for the entire time.
No, not at all. No.
Although she is really cool. No. I love her.
I'd like to say if she's listening, yeah,
we love you.
Yeah, we love you, Yvette. We do love you, Yvette. So
Could you imagine if we ever found out she listened to this, how much fangirling we'd do over it?
I think there would be an utterance that only canines could hear. all of a sudden, this supersonic wave just hits England, and every dog just goes nuts. And says, "What's happened?" I think they've just found out who listens to the podcast. I'd love to meet her.
I'd love to meet her.
I'd love to meet the Most Haunted gang.
I would. I'd love to meet Carl and Stuart, me.
Yeah, like I said, I'd love to meet Yvette. But the thing is, you can go on their Most Haunted experiences.
Yeah, there's quite a few near Manchester, actually. Like, we should, because that's equal distance for us both. We could do like.
Yes, it is. Yes, very much so. And me being me, I'd be like, I take a camera, get the selfie, get the autograph, and then that's things you just can't get at Comic-Con ever. That makes me wonder why they've never done a Comic-Con before. Because I mean, people of our generation, we grew up with Most Haunted, so there's a good chunk of nerd culture that grew up with all these lovely paranormal shows. I mean, if they turned up at Comic-Con, they'd rule.
They would, because I mean, you've got people
Yvette
like
would be queen.
You would, because you've got people that are like sort of my age at 25 who've like grown up with it from being like little tiny kids. And it first came on when you were in like college, so they've got a broad range. They've got like a good generation of kids, essentially.
We kind of got that ish with Most Haunted Live.
I used to love a Most Haunted Live.
I used to live for I mean, to the point at which there was 1 year. There was 1 year. I think it was The Hunt for Dick Turpin. I was absolutely besotted with the show by that point. I wanted to watch the live, so I convinced my parents to let me watch it. at the same time while actually on my computer at the same time. So I'm watching the TV and I'm watching the webcams as well, just to see what was going, on.
Do you remember the live they did at East Drive? That's another case that fascinates me. I love East Drive. Like, I know that sounds a bit weird to say that you love a haunted location that you've never been to, but it's such like an in-depth.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, I know. It's just
this is the one place we can actually say these things and say it's not weird. You like a haunted location? Guess what? Me too.
It's like such an in-depth location though. Like so much has happened there, and it's just so interesting. There's that film about it as well, which we'll talk about in later episode, because we had an idea that we would talk about like films that are like horror films and what we think are the best ones and good portrayals and everything.
Yeah, and probably as we talk about cases, we'll drop in some film references as well, because there was one point when you mentioned Ball Electric, I literally found a low budget film.
Yeah, I've seen that
about Ball Electric, and to my delight, dear old Colin Baker's in it.
I knew you'd love that.
I haven't watched it yet. I was going to say Colin's in it, so I was just like, and it's about Harry Price as well. It's just like, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm going to be watching that probably before we do episode 2, because the next one of these is actually going to be Ball Electric.
Get your homework done.
Undivided. Yeah, get some reading done. Yes, but look, the thing is, you watch Mouse Haunted, you can kind of, you get the skeptics saying, "Well, it's just dust to the orbs and this, that, and the other." I said, "Look, you can see the flaws in these shows, possibly.
Yeah.
If you were looking for them, and point out why would you be looking for them in the first place? I know some people take a great delight in that, but it really did open up the whole, because I don't know whether you felt the same growing up, and I use the word growing up in a really broad sense. Is that as you get older and you start to really connect with these ideas and these feelings and these stories and the idea of actually physically going somewhere and actually investigating something that is possibly beyond our world, and I can talk like this as well, this is a wonderful thing, and then you watch Most Haunted, and then you have the internet, you put the two together, and all of a sudden it opens up this whole world of people, and you realise that before it was kind of, well, I'm the only one who believes in ghosts, I must be the weird one. It's a case of, no, we're all weirdos. And I absolutely love it, because the one thing that's the stories are abound, that if you got the chance to go to a Most Haunted live, the social aspect and actually meeting people, actually talking with other people about this common interest, it was really unifying in a way, which I think Most Haunted should be applauded for, because it really did brought it into the open. It made it a talking point. It said, look, you've watched Most Haunted, I watched Most Haunted, right, let's go drink and talk about weird stuff. It just made it so much more accessible and so much more, I don't want to use the word normal, but it just made it socially acceptable. Yeah. It's like part of nerd culture that's sort of become part of everyday life, as it were.
Well, for me, like my idea of the paranormal is the people that are skeptical about it are probably only skeptical because they've never had the proof for themselves that it exists. And people that believe it either have seen something or have been through something or just are open to it, like within themselves.
Yeah. And the skeptics not having proof or being of, and the thing is, some people dismiss skeptics as sort of lowbrow, nothings. No, far from it. They're actually got such a keen insight and they see things differently. And this is another thing, people see things in completely different ways in the world. So a skeptic is just someone who can see where all the dots are joined, and they can see how everything's put together and how everything works. And that takes a really intelligent mind to actually have that outlook. But at the same time, it's a case of, well, that's fine. Just believers and probably see exactly the same, but sort of what made that work.
Yeah.
And sort of they try and see beyond, as it were, So it's a case of, I've always said that skeptics and believers shouldn't actually be at odds with each other. It's just that, skeptics can see one side of things and believers see another side of things.
I think as well, it's influenced with like the way you've been, I would say, like brought up, like what your parents believe is probably projected onto like you. Like my mum is a very, very big believer, and actually when I was born, my first house was a haunted house. I wasn't allowed to sleep in my bedroom. I had to sleep in my parents' room because my mum was that frightened something was going to get me. Because when she was pregnant with me, she was sat in, she had like an Edwardian like dresser type thing where she could see behind her and everything. So she was sat doing like her makeup one day, and she saw this like figure walk up like the stairs, like it's like a terraced house. It was like an Edwardian Victorian terraced house, and she saw this like black figure walking into the room that was meant to be my nursery. And she like called out to my dad. She was like, Ian, is that you? And then she heard my dad like downstairs being like, what? So she was like, no, Emily's going to be sleeping in here with us. Like, yeah. And like my when I was born, my aunties that used to come and babysit me, my cousins, when they used to babysit me, would turn every single light on in the house, and they wouldn't like let me go upstairs to sleep on my own. I wouldn't be allowed to go upstairs to sleep. They wouldn't put me to bed upstairs. My mum wouldn't. I'd fall asleep on the floor downstairs. They were that like protective. They didn't want me to be on my own upstairs in the house.
Oh. Well, my haunted house experience, because this is the same house as well, so it's a lot more beneficent, I must admit. But like I mean, being a kid in this house, sort of quick backstory context. My granddad lived with us for a few years before he passed away of cancer back in '88, and belief in this house, it's always been this really strange thing whereby I'll talk about ghosts and I'll watch Most Haunted and I'll watch basically anything to do with the paranormal. And you've got my dad, who literally is a scientific and cool as cucumber kind of guy. I mean, really. And when if he says that he doesn't believe anything, he doesn't make any bones or anything about it. He just goes, nah, just yeah. He completely dismisses it. Doesn't even talk about it. Whereas my mum, bless her, there was one time I was watching Most Haunted, and my mum said, "No, you carry on, watch it." And the little comments would be passed, like, "No, load of rubbish, that sort of thing." And I'd look over to her, but she'd still be watching. It's kind of, you believe, but there's something about your upbringing that tells you not to believe, and that's only because my nan, who was as Catholic as they came. So it really is that melting pot of beliefs. But the irony is that my granddad passed away, and his spirit does reside in this house.
Oh.
He's here. Oh yeah, my granddad's a key holder. Mind you, my granddad, my nan, and my uncle, because they were always welcome here. They were always safe here. And there was one time when I must have been about 5 or 6. It was a weekend. My mum was doing what she was doing, and I was upstairs in my room. And the story goes that she could hear me talking to somebody. She could hear me talking, but she couldn't hear who I was talking to. Now, being a 5-year-old or 5 or 6-year-old, you sort of think, well, obviously, kids talk to themselves, or they imagine, they play acting.
With their imaginary friends or something, like
yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, my friends weren't imaginary. It's she'd come upstairs, peek her head round the door, and said, "Are you talking to Matthew?" I said, "I'm talking to Grandad." And there was this pause, and my mum just went, "Okay," and just walked out and never questioned it ever since. And then when my nan passed away, she drops in from time to time.
She's not a stayer. She's a visitor. Is she?
She's not a stayer. No. And then when my uncle passed away, this was brilliant. It's only my uncle could do this. When my Uncle Keith passed away, a couple of years ago now, actually, we've got a set of drawers in the living room, and it's where my dad keeps all these tools and these bits and pieces. And in there's a voltage detector. I suppose in a way it's an EMF detector, but you do actually, it's a Black & Decker one. You can use it to check where the electrics are in the wall. And this thing has sat in the drawer, switched off, buried, and it hasn't been used in ages. Just hasn't. After my uncle passed away, everyone was asleep, and about 3 o'clock one morning, there was this beep, 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 going absolutely nuts. And my mum woke up, what the bloody hell was that? And so she came downstairs, followed the sound, and it was coming from the tool drawer, and it was the EMF detector. It was going nuts. So she switched it off, put it back where it was, put the stuff back on top of it, locked the drawer, forgot about it. Next night, 3 o'clock in the morning, beep, 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 beep. And my dad says, "Why is that bloody thing going off?" And without missing a beat, my mum says, "It's Keith. I'm going to kill the little bastard."
Oh dear.
So she came downstairs and shouted at him. But that was me. That was my Uncle Keith's very cruel, dry sense of humour. It's the kind of thing he would do when he finds out he's got ghostly powers. He said he's going to use them to the max.
Yeah. He's just an annoy. He's just going to keep annoying you.
He was such a lad.
Yeah.
It wasn't to frighten anybody, but he was all about always about having a cheeky laugh.
He just wants to annoy you from time to time. He just wants to, annoy you.
He really loves stuff like that. So being able to do it from the great beyond, that's he must have just been loving it.
He probably was. He was like, "Yeah, this will get them going." Got work in the morning.
Switch the thing. Yeah, exactly. Now, if you can switch the thing on without batteries being in it, because Mum whipped out the batteries and she said, "Right,
that's it.
Mess with that one, you beggar."
You might just find something else to start messing with. You just mess with like everything in your house until he's like got nothing else to mess with. He tries.
I think he's trying to become a poltergeist. Because, probably you get random things just sort of fall off. Or there was one time, we don't know which one of them, but we got the feeling that one of them got angry at one point. It was either my nan or my granddad. It was probably my nan, because my granddad, apparently, he never got mad. So it's probably my nan, but we never know. But you can imagine if this big old cupboard, if you like. It's about 5 foot tall, and on the top is this huge jewelry chest that my mum's got. It's it's a bit gaudy for my taste. I was never really fond of it, and it was just one day we were stood in the living room. We were sorting something out, and me and my mum were just talking, and this thing had got to be a good 4 foot away from us, on top of this cupboard, and it had been there for years. Nobody had touched it. This thing was far too heavy. And all of a sudden, we're just chatting away, crash! And all of a sudden, we literally saw this thing just move, literally tilt forward and just face plant the floor. But it didn't smash, because the thing is that Countdown was enough force. You think that thing would have been smashed to bits. Didn't smash to bits. It was just, I think it dislodged the lock a little bit. But we just stood there, just going, "Did you see that?" And I said, "Yeah, did you see that?" "Yeah." He goes, "What are you saying in this situation?" He goes, "Oh, well, it is this, it is that." This is what you find with a real paranormal experience, or my personal experience, is that when something truly unusual happens, people don't go, "Ah, no," and run off. They just sort of stop. Absolutely stock still and just go, "Well, that just happened."
Yeah, it's like an auto response, like it's a psychological response. You'll either run away, like you see a vet doing in Most Haunted quite a lot of the time, or on the flip side, like Carl, you'll try and fight it, or like most people, you just stand and look at it and be like, "What? Why?"
Yeah, I must admit there was one quote from Carl I think it was the first series. And I think it was the Blackpool episode. And whatever this thing was, it was driving him absolutely berserk. And he says, "You come anywhere near me and I'll drop kick you to the nth dimension." And I just thought, I need that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Do you, because I feel like this only exists in my mind. Do you ever remember watching an episode of Most Haunted? And I don't know where they were, but Carl got locked in a safe.
Ooh. Locked in a
Yeah,
safe?
like he went into this
I
big standing I don't know, like a safe or like it's like somewhere you store something. But then he couldn't get out.
I don't recall that one. I know someone who would be able to recall that one. I know they got stuck in a lift at the Galleries of Justice in Nottingham. I know that was actually quite funny. You know, they spend the entire episode trying to get a response, and they take this small, literally this cupboard-sized elevator downstairs, and it's stopped, and they got stuck. But a walking safe, no. But I am going to find that out.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely watched it, but then like nobody that I've said about it can remember it, and only I can remember it. I'm not sure whether it actually did happen or I dreamt it.
Even most haunted and the Mandela effect.
I will push, and I will damage you. Get moving now. Who do you think you are? Get out! 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 Get out of here! Get out of here! Leave me! Leave me! Leave me! Get you away! Get you away!
Derek!
Get you away!
Derek!
Heaven!
Derek!
Hallelujah!
Well, what we'll be looking at, so next time we do an episode, so next episode even, what I'm talking about, next episode, we'll be talking about the Borley Rectory mystery. I'll be putting my thoughts across on that. We'll be looking at TV reenactments. We'll be looking at actual thoughts and opinions. Is it real? Is it fake? We'll get your opinion on it, Matt, if you do some research. Or if you listen to my...
I have many opinions on the subject.
If you listen to my recounting of it for the listeners, and then you can let me know what you think at the end.
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I am literally all here for. I am here for this. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm not going to be passing final judgment as this is garbage. You know, it's not. That's not the point. It's more how, you know, it's when people tell. This is what I want to do. So when people tell us their stories, the one thing that I like is the idea that people tell you these stories and they're kind of afraid that they're not going to be believed. Trust me, one of us is going to believe
you. Yeah.
You know. So yes. So next time is going to be the Borley Rectory.
Yes.
And so I've got some homework.
You do.
Because I don't know much about the Borley Rectory, but I'm about to find out. And we hope that you join us as well.
We do hope that you join us.
Yes.
That can be our tagline. Join us.
Do join us.
Do join us next time.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this, the first inaugural episode of the gathering of Haunted Oral Stories Together, otherwise known as
the Ghost
Podcast. We should try to say that at the same time.
We need a jingle. We need a jingle.
We need a jingle. Yeah. Everybody, 1, 2, 3. The
Ghost Podcast.
So to everyone, thank you very much for joining us, and
we'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yes, you will. Bye bye.